Hello everyone, I'm Chase Lee reporting for DallasMoviescreens.com and welcome back to my continuing coverage of the 2017 Dallas International Film Festival. This is the second film in the festival that I'm covering, so let's get to it. And it's called The Void. Now, I didn't expect much going in, but I remember watching the trailer a couple weeks ago and I'm like, oh wow, this has got like a really kind of cool creature feature feel. It looks like The Thing mixed in with like Halloween and like a cult movie and maybe a little bit of Hellraiser. And did we get that in this movie? Yes, but it's also one of the negatives of this movie. So I'm going to say I like it for the most part, but I do have some major issues with it that do kind of hold it back from being something of a kind of like a cult masterpiece in the genre kind of community. So all right, let's get real and break down The Void. Now, let's start with the writing and directing, because I think this is where it kind of faults the most. So we'll start with the writing itself. As far as the actual story and characters and whatnot, I thought the story itself was intriguing. I thought it was mysterious. I thought it was creepy. I thought it was suspenseful. It has a lot of good things going for it in the horror genre that really kind of keeps your attention the entire time. The one thing I can say about this movie that I will give praise to is that it's unpredictable. I had no idea where the hell this movie was going. That's a good thing, but also a bad thing. Now, some of the negatives with the story, and this kind of lumps it in with the characters as well. As much as I was intrigued and kind of like just appreciating this really kind of hellish nightmare that the directors were trying to portray, right? What I found kind of off-putting is that, yes, the mystery was there, and I'm glad the filmmakers didn't spoon-feed you, but at the same time, they left the mystery a little bit too obscure, and they also were throwing a lot at you to where, when you really think about it at the end, it didn't really kind of mash up very well, and it was a little bit more just confusing than anything. So that's where I'm kind of iffy on the story and the characters themselves, is that there's a lot of stuff that happens. There's a lot of characters that come in that aren't really fully developed. You don't really know why they're there, which I'm fine with if you want to do that for like the first hour or so. But once you get into like the last 10 or 15 minutes, you need to start kind of revealing a little bit more. And they do reveal some stuff, but at the same time, I had to rewind it a couple of times because I wasn't really understanding like what I was watching and listening to. I was like, okay, so that over here, so a lot of the, like I said, story elements, I would say in the last like 20 minutes in the movie are where it kind of falls apart. The first hour and 10 minutes movie are great. It's like this really intense, like creature movie that's filled with a lot of gore, a lot of violence, a lot of great cinematography, a lot of great atmosphere and mood. But then it just kind of goes off the rails in the last 20 minutes or so. And I appreciate the ambition and the kind of like scope that the directors were trying to go for. But I just think ultimately it just kind of falls apart and doesn't really make any sense, even though I do appreciate like the creative aesthetic to it. It just story-wise didn't really kind of flow well. But going into the directing though, as much as I, am kind of iffy on the story, I'm about half and half on the story and the characters and whatnot, because like I said, the first hour and 10 minutes, great. Just kind of falls apart towards the end. But the directing though, and the visual aesthetic of the film is pretty outstanding. I really like the mix of like their throwback and their kind of homage to like The Thing and like Halloween 2 and these cult films from the 80s. And I was like, this is a really good kind of like visually pleasing movie for any horror fan. Every single scene that they set up, regardless if it's messy or not, does establish some type of mood or tone that they were trying to go for. It is creepy. It is unsettling. It is frightening. It is violent. It's something that every single fan of horror in genre can really kind of appreciate. So I really do appreciate the director's vision for the film, even if it doesn't work out for the most part. Not most part, some of the time, meaning end. But I think for two people that are primarily like makeup people in the film industry, I thought they did a pretty decent job at writing and directing this kind of unique horror film. I just wish it would have all came together towards the end, and it could have been one of the best in this type of genre. So, acting-wise, I thought the acting was okay for the most part. I do like the main character, the cop of the film, because the whole story, because I don't want to reveal too much. The whole story, I'm going to tell you just this. Just one thin plot detail, and that's the very beginning. This cop finds a person on the side of the road, takes him to a hospital. And that's it. That's all I want to say. Because I want you guys to kind of experience this movie and kind of let it unfold in front of you rather than someone just tell you, because what's the fun in that? Anyways, the acting itself, like I said, everyone was okay. I did like the main character, though. He did have like that presence of being the leader of the group, if you will. I thought some of the performances were a little hokey, a little unconvincing. Some of them were kind of fun to watch, and really, some of these actors were really getting into the spirit of the film, which is kind of like I said, this kind of version of hell and like a nightmare that's really kind of just unfolding in front of you. So I thought they really kind of had a lot of fun with that, but everyone else was fine. But the main character I really kind of enjoyed. Cinematography-wise, just like with the story, it's kind of hit and miss. I would say like 80% of the movie is shot very well. I love the use of colors and shadows to really kind of showcase this Silent Hill looking setting of a movie, and it's just really creepy and really kind of puts you in that kind of terrifying, like, hair raising on arms type of mood. On the same coin, though, some of the cinematography is a little too dark, and I will admit that. Like the first couple times we see the thing running around or whatnot, it's a little too dark, and there might be some flickering lights or whatnot, so it's a little hard to see. So I will say, for the most part, setting up the shots and really kind of capturing this kind of disgusting looking nightmare is wonderful. But some of the lighting is where it kind of comes into effect in terms of the pros and cons. Editing-wise, the movie's an hour and a half long. I think for the most part, even the most confusing last 10 to 15 minutes, I still think it's a very intense movie. The tension brews from start to finish and really kind of has this nice build-up, even if you don't really appreciate the climax. So I really do like the pace of the film. It keeps you on edge. It keeps you interested. You're like, what is happening type of deal. So I think for overall, the most part, regardless of the confusion at the end, I think the actual pace of the film is dead on when it comes to like a tension-filled horror film. So, guys, overall, I really do like the ambition of this movie. And I really love the makeup and the prosthetics. And I forgot to mention that. The makeup and the prosthetics of this film, because they are directed by a couple of makeup people, are outstanding. It's some of the best I've seen in terms of like practical effects. With the design of the creatures and the blood and whatnot. They're very inventive. They're very just creative, and really kind of the designs of it make it stand out and be something unique and something all of its own, even though it's paying homage to a bunch of different movies. So guys, I like the movie. I'm still a little disappointed at the end, and I gotta say, I hardly ever say this for horror films. I do believe this is a multiple viewing type of film. I do believe that you have to watch this more than once. I wish that wasn't the case, because I wish they would have not spoon-fed us, but just a little bit more morsel, to kind of just understand what the hell is going on. So I do believe if you watch it twice, you might understand it a little bit more. There might be a little some more nuances, within the story that are actually making it smarter than it actually is. But for the most part, on the first viewing, it kind of comes across as, a little, I hate the P word, pretentious. But I still like it for the most part. So for the makeup and prosthetics, the gore, and the story for the most part, and the director's vision, I'm going to give this film, The Void, a B-. The only reason I'm giving it a minus is for that last 15 minutes. So what did you guys think of The Void? I heard it was at many different festivals, so please let me know where you saw it, what you thought of it. Comment in that place right below my face and let me know. I'm Chase Lee, guys, reporting for DallasMovieScreens.com, and come on in. Come back to my continuing coverage of the 2017 Dallas International Film Festival. I guess I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye-bye.